Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of What's New in MXU. In today's video, MXU 511. My name is Stéphane Couture and I'm joined today by Trevor Tartaglia.
Hello everyone.
Hey Trevor, glad to have you here.
Thanks, Stéphane.
So what's new in MXU 511?
One of the biggest improvements that we've added to 511 is the addition of the gate in TFM. This is already available in the TCG calibration in 5.10, but now in 511 is going to be available for TFM, conventional, and PCI groups in acquisition and during analysis. So if I switch over to the OmniScan, we can see I already have my main gates menu open. This is the same menu as in phase array, and this is where we're going to activate and disactivate the gate. And with my top and side views, I can either choose to have all data, which is the view you're used to seeing with TFM, or if I do a long press on either of these views, I can change to gate A, where I only see the data that's included in my gate A. We can see the gate A in my end view with the red dotted lines, and we have a control for both the index position start and end and the depth position start and end because we're making a box gate for these volumetric views. The index position start and end is going to change what I see in my side view. So if I come here and I change my index end to 20 millimeters, we can see the data that is no longer included in my gate was removed from my side view. And the same thing with my depth. If I change the depth, say to 10 millimeters, everything that is no longer included in my gate is removed from my end view. Moving forward, another thing that we also added to MXU 511 is the raster scan in TFM, both for PCI and TFM. So here we have a raster scan using PCI, and we can see that if I activate all data, we can see there's a lot of information from my back wall that's showing up in my end view, or my top view, which makes it hard to analyze the data. But if I change back to gate A, I can use my gate from scrolling the depth to identify the tops of some of my defects. So if I want to make sure that there's no defects that arrive at a certain position in my part, or in another case, if I want to scroll down and see where I start to have defects, and more importantly, if I want to see where I may have some connections with my ID, I can target the bottom of my part, and all the positions that I can see in my end view or my top view are going to be where I might have a connection with the ID like we see in the end view here.
All right. So thanks, Trevor. Looking forward to trying this and start using it. Also in MXU 511, worth mentioning, we now have the ability to calibrate the phase array channels for DAC and DGS. Those are some more conventional UT-oriented calibration standards or procedures that are now available on the phase array side, and the workflow is going to be identical, just multiple angles versus a single angle conventional UT. Also, we are now moving from the ODAT file format to what we call the NDE file format, meaning that starting with MXU 511, we'll have open format data files. So any one of you who are using your own algorithm to produce analysis programs, softwares, now we're no longer bounded to our OpenView platform. You can use any software you like. That being said, we still support legacy files. We can still open and read the MX2 data files, the ODAT X3 file format as well. What can you tell us more about that, Trevor, too?
One important thing to mention about the new file format is the goal moving forward is that the NDE file format is going to be shared between all Evident platforms. So this means that if I acquire data on an X3 and I want to open it with something other than OmniPC or WeldSite, then this is going to be available. And the same thing if I acquire data with another device and I want to open it on OmniPC, in the future moving forward, once the NDE file format is shared between all of our platforms, it'll be cross-compatible. That mentioned, for this transition period, the NDE file formats for a very short period will not be supported by WeldSite. This is currently in development and should be available shortly. That means that if you're watching this in the future, most likely WeldSite is already able to open and analyze NDE file format like on the PC.
Great. So thanks, Trevor, for joining me today. I think that sums it up very well. So if you have questions, comments, would like more information, feel free to reach out to us or your local sales representative. Also, don't forget to follow us on the different social media, YouTube, LinkedIn. We have accounts there. Again, thank you for joining us, and see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.